We should be live right now. Let me bring my mic closer. Sup everyone, this is episode 25 of Gameplayer. Me and Nate we were talking about Borderlands, Tiny Tina Wonderland, if they did the loot right. And I must say, no they didn't. Uh, there is way too many spam of fucking melee weapons, dude. It's
I
not...
just I
Yeah?
just think that a lot of the weapons, I don't know, I feel like they just tried to overall make everybody feel a bit weaker and in turn uh kind of made everybody go one direction, to be honest. Every end game build I've seen is built around the same like four weapons.
Which are?
I mean, I don't remember them all off the bat, but I'm just saying like in every video I've looked up about in-game stuff has been like cryo based damage basically.
Oh yeah,
Like there's a
cryo is insane. It literally freezes you to no
yeah,
end.
but the problem is like the procking, so it slows them down. You increase your critical damage, and it's the only real viable build that's even worth going for, which is like
Your
wow. So yeah, I think there's gonna be a lot of balancing
I mean,
going forward.
they need to fix the netcode before anything else.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of that still unable to join or only able to join if you get invited or lots of stuff like that. So
It's insane that I see myself getting kicked out of the internet only to sign back in by itself.
yeah, so I haven't had that problem lately. My only problem has been like us getting in like all getting in the same lobby. So sometimes we can get into someone's lobby no problem. Sometimes we can't get in the lobby together at all. Sometimes we can get in, but you got to invite the person. It's very hit or miss right now.
So my issue with Borderlands, which again, Tiny Tina, I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this because the what's called the honeymoon phase has run up very quick. Um, it outplayed. It's how should I say it? I'm playing it and I'm like, I wish we were in the future. It's like how should I? It it I don't they
You're
didn't
not feeling the medieval kind of thing.
they no it's not that when it's literally medieval but the guns are from the future. It's like what the fuck, dude. It my biggest issue with it feels as if I'm playing Borderlands 3. There is no distinguish between Borderlands 3 and this one. Enemies are different. Well, even enemies are debatable. Like instead of automatic robots, you have human skins with guns, and that's it. And some skeletons and undead, and even they are. It's like having tiny the Tiny Tina DLC existing didn't do this one any favor. If
Yeah, I
we
agree.
if we didn't have Tiny Tina DLC, then this would have been a big wow moment. And some of the stuff like um, I have to second someone secondary character, not a character, secondary skill is I summon a bunch of tornadoes. What's up, grounded? Um, and it's like because we are in this next gen era, you would expect me to be able to mix tornado with fire, or tornado with lightning, or tornado with snow, to make it even more epic. But no, I'm sitting here doing cryo damage or fire damage or lightning damage, and my tornado is like tornadoing, but there is just tornado damage. Like
I mean,
for
I'm not gonna say I would expect that just because they can, because they never said it would. So I'm
no, but it just I don't know. I feel the jump from Borderlands 2 to 3 is way bigger than the jump from 3 to Tintina.
agreed.
Like when you
I'm still
jump,
enjoying myself, but I agree.
it just yeah. When I first played it, I was like the honeymoon phase was running through, and now that's run off. It's like I'm still enjoying it, but I'm finding way more issues to pick on it for. Like for example, the dices that you find. Why can't they be marked on your map so you know which one you have collected and which one you still need to find?
Agreed.
Because you need to pick up around what 208 if you want the best loot drop for the final dungeon, which
And there's a lot of them.
yeah, and the thing is, I'm not gonna waste my time walking the entire map over and over again just to find them all. I'm looking it up on YouTube because I have got wife talking that I want to play as well. But even with all that, I'm literally have in one area I have almost 17, 11, 12, you name it. But when I look at on YouTube, I need to now literally go every step by step place just to make sure I didn't miss out on that spot. Which again, stupid, because if you marked it on the map, I would known which one I picked it up, which one I didn't. And
Yeah.
even that is underwhelming when it comes to loot. Like we would expect, at least they would give you a higher drop of legendary or a higher drop of purple when you when you pick one up, or even when you fight a mimic. Like you're gonna have me defend Dark Souls now or the Souls franchise. At least in the Souls franchise, when there's a mimic, when you kill it, most of the time you're rewarded with something nice to use for your character.
Oh, that's something they definitely the variety of good weapons seems to be really lacking.
I love that they have the ability to have the mimic spawn randomly. I genuinely love that. But at the same time, I'm not excited when I fight a mimic, dude. It's like, oh yeah, this mimic exists and this mimic exists, and they don't give me anything. No loot, no amazing, no awesome loot whatsoever. It's like I don't know. And I'm going a little bit on a rant tantrum, but it just I don't know. I don't want Borderlands 4 right now. I
No,
want
I
them
mean
to take.
they got a long way to go, and I
Uh,
think they're gonna take their time. But I'm gonna give them the time to iron this one out because they usually do. I mean, Borderlands 3 is way better than where it started, like a truck ton better. So I think
even
that they'll realize a lot of the mistakes that they made, and I think they'll do a lot better from here. But like you said, in the meantime, once we get to a point where we're satisfied with what we have on hand, we get our characters maxed out. You know, you let it sit for a little while, and you know, then we come back to it once the expansions and updates and stuff have kind of hit. And in the meantime, you get to enjoy things like Ghostwire Tokyo. So no big deal.
even the skills are underwhelming, and even the follow-up skills that you learn, you're not adding anything significant. And there is no real focus on one build in sense of do you want to do more damage or do you want to be more focused on SMG or stuff like that. At least with the two characters that I played, they don't specify if I want to be more SMG based or sniper based or whatever. I don't know. It's just um,
They took a lot of that away, but in favor of some other wider benefits. But I mean, you got to play around with the classes. You got to really go through it and see kind of what's what. Like, I mean, the stuff is there. Like, as I've played more and gotten some synergy with some of my builds, it's become more fun. Like, it's just built different. And like I said, you got to give it some time. I think it'll be there. But if you're wholesale unimpressed, then yeah, nothing they do in the future is going to change that.
nah, I hope. Maybe it's a character I'm playing. We will see. Hey, Soapbox Games, Connor, how are you doing, dude? Welcome. So yeah, normally I don't do this, but yeah, sorry for the long rant. We're gonna start with the Nate. What you been playing?
Uh, yeah, so Innate, or aka the real Innate. Right now I've been playing. I'm still finishing up Super Robot Wars 30. I actually probably will finish that here shortly, and should get the platinum shortly right after. An odd one for me because I cannot stand and I hate horror games with a passion because they do a bunch of shit that annoys me, like taking control away from you constantly and putting you in a bunch of stupid ass situations. But I was playing Resident Evil Village because motherfuckers swear up, down, left, right, and center that shit's like gaudy material. So I was like, let me see for myself. Um, and Triangle Strategy, playing that as well. So yeah, bouncing back and forth between those. And then eventually I will start Ghostwire Tokyo probably on PC and see what that's about. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
Gotcha. Ghost in the Shell, how are you doing, my dude?
I'm good, man. Just at home from work, and I go Gran Turismo. I
Oh,
I
y-
re-uploaded.
your audio is not that. Is it just me, or is almost like on the
No, it's
background?
not you.
Yeah, it
You.
sounds like you're on a walkie-talkie or something.
Yeah.
You wanna
So
you wanna you wanna. All right, he probably give it a second.
yeah,
You
Connor,
need a
how far
second.
are you in Ghost in Horizon? Morgan, how are you? What you been playing?
Hey everybody, it's Morgan, aka Chill Bandit. Honestly, I just been playing, you know,
Hey,
Tiny Tina Wonderlands with you guys, so that's what I've been doing.
Not me. The game doesn't allow me to play with
Okay,
any
I
of
played with
you.
you the first time though, Omar.
At first, yeah.
we've tried to
We
play it. Yeah,
tried.
yeah,
Tried is the correct option. So
yeah.
how are you enjoying the game?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a Borderlands stan like you guys. I don't really have any opinions on what's different from Borderlands 3, seeing how I only played like a little bit of it.
So you're
But
not
I mean, I'm
genuine.
having fun with it.
Yeah, it's been
Gotcha.
fun.
And Weeb, how are you? What you been playing?
I'm good. This is the Weep Sheriff, aka Blue Rhizome, and I've been playing Tokyo Ghostwire, and
Yeah, I've been
it's
watching you play that. Like, I see you post screenshots and gameplay. Are you liking it? Because I want to pick it
oh
up.
yeah, yeah, it's very addictive.
Okay.
I highly recommend it. If you're into anime, if you're into that culture, it's not
Yeah.
anime, but it's just Japan in general, and it you genuinely feel like you're in Japan. The way the culture is, the way everything is, and I'm loving it.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm thinking about picking that up.
I'm totally not doing the story missions because I just can't stop exploring and finding all the
And doing
ghosts
side quests, yeah?
and the
Okay.
side quests. Yeah. Side quests are actually fun, really.
Yeah, yeah.
That's good.
Side quests are fun. What they need to do to improve the side quest is when they tell you kappa, explain what the fuck a kappa is.
No, they don't need to do that.
Hmm.
You 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 can read what a kappa is in the database, but they don't have to explain that to you. I mean, if you watch anime, you know what a kappa is.
Yes, but there was one side quest where they say a kappa stole your kamishi, or I'm like, what the fuck is a kamishi, or something like that. It's like some words that they use in Japanese are not known for me as someone that have watched tons of anime.
Yeah, but you can figure it out.
Yeah, the favorite side quest so far for me was the doll one.
Oh yeah, that was actually kind of fun.
That because it's not straightforward. You need to find the doll, and need to find her. I actually found her by accident. I went to that place. I don't want to spoil it, so it's fun for people to look it up. And I'm like random. I found myself there. I'm like, oh hi doll. Good to see you. Finally that I've found you after roaming the area for 15 minutes looking for you. It was fun. Anything else you playing?
Oh, just Ghostwire.
Gotcha. As for me, Ghost, are you back or
Now,
try?
can you hear me now? Can you
Yeah,
hear
we
me?
hear you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I mean, just I'm sticking with Gran Turismo. I'm just doing my licenses, and doing some Formula One racing. I actually re-downloaded Elden Ring and
I was
suffered through.
literally about to tease you with you playing Elden Ring or something like that.
Yeah,
Uh,
I got back into it, and I'm on my way home to delete it off my system again.
uh,
It should have just that aggravating. So,
this man giving that
I'm
honest
you're
focused
at
on
the
opinion.
the.
point that you're actually insulted that you paid that much money for it.
Yeah, I mean, just salty. I'm like, I'm gonna get my $70, and I'm like, you know what? I'll just chalk that $70 up because I'm not that guy. Um, but
Hey,
real talk. Like you guys are all big Borderlands fans, and I really like the Borderlands. Um, Unfortunately, I always get into it so late that everyone, whenever I join a party, or they always kick me because I'm so low level. So I end up
now
having to solo it.
with this one though, especially after 3 and onward, you have the ability to join others while you're at your own level and they're at their own level, and there is no disconnect. They shouldn't
Well,
kick you out. Also, with us, you would never be kicked out
Yeah,
until
definitely
the
not.
game kicks you out, because there is no good internet connection with this one so far.
well, if any of y'all want to get a hop on Borderlands 3, I'm down because
Hey,
I really want to play it, but like I
Borderlands
said, I always
3 or Tiny Tina
I mean, Tiny
Wonderland?
Tina.
Borderlands 3. I haven't got to Tiny Land seen it. I ain't played Borderlands 3 yet, and so I was like, I'm not gonna get, what I'm saying, Tiny Tina just yet.
Um,
So
Oh,
okay.
I run through. I
I
run through
can
that shit
download.
like
Yeah, I can
cornflakes.
download Borderlands 3 and we can play together. No problem.
cool. But yeah, just been playing Gran Turismo and suffering through Elden Ring. Like I'm in the beginning. I ain't even went to the round table yet, and I've died like 400 sometimes.
But okay, so what's the? Because you clearly are a Soul fan, right? Or am I missing the point? Because
Oh
apparently
no
you.
no 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 no! You are missing the point. I'm not a Souls fan,
Oh,
but
oh. Then it makes
they
no sense
all
for you to buy
everyone's
Elden.
saying yeah
Okay.
everyone's saying that this is the easiest of them. So I'm like,
You fell.
and there
You
are
fell
some
for the
aspects.
hype. You fell for the hype. Gotcha.
I fell for the old banana in the tailpipe.
Okay. Maybe start with something easier. Bloodborne. It's free on PlayStation. You can pick it up right now and give it a go.
Yeah, that's probably what I'll do.
Those games.
As for me, I've been playing Tiny Tina. I just had a rant about it. Other than that, this is non gaming related, but I just want to give a shout out to One Piece. The latest 2 chapters are insane. The creator Ishiro Oda have done something very bold. and I'm curious how it's gonna turn out. And when it comes to the wrestling industry, Undertaker, what's called, quit. So he is retired right now. So there's also that. Also shout out to him. And other than that, yeah, no, we're gonna have a great show. And oh, look who made it, Zanek. How are you doing? What have you been playing?
Horizon.
How far are you?
Um, I'm just finished the meter, and so I'm 53% accomplished so far. And so,
I recommend you to not download the latest patch if you, because they nerfed weapons.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
dang man,
I'm gonna go a little learn about that because it's one thing to nerf weapons in fucking multiplayer games, but why the fuck are you nerfing weapons in a single player game? Like that makes
that's what I wanted to do.
absolutely no sense. Go ahead, Zach.
Yeah, they nerfed the legendary weapons and armor. I
Yeah,
was like, dude, I was like, why would you do that? That's the most stupidest thing to do.
yeah.
Bro, you got to repatch this, man. Because
I hope.
yeah,
They did do something nice, which is basically eliminate the pickup animation.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
great. For someone like me that put more than 150 hours in the game.
Yeah. I'm actually at 99 hours.
I feel you.
Actually,
Are you going for the plat?
actually, I am. I
Have
am.
fun. Which difficulty are you playing on?
Just normal, man.
Normal. Yeah, no waiting on that. So.
Yeah.
Anything else you're
Um.
playing?
Oh, nothing else, man. I really haven't been playing anything else. I just bought me a PS3, so
You bought.
we play some
Wait,
more games.
you bought a PS3?
Yeah.
Okay, congrats, I guess.
Yeah, trying to get some of my old games. If I didn't beat them or whatever, I'll just go back and play them. But that's gonna be a while. Oh, let's see what else. I bought me a TV. I needed a new TV,
Nice.
and
Which TV did you get?
I just got me a Vizio, 50 inch right
Mm.
now. It was $223. It was on sale.
Yeah,
Um,
that's how I bought my OG TV. When it was, I was lucky with 40 and something for $300. Back then, it was
yeah,
very cheap. Yeah, I feel you.
yeah.
Anything else you're
So,
playing?
Uh, well, I'm playing this free. Well, actually, I am trying to play this free to play Bleach game that's on
Oh, Bleach something something solve something. I know
yeah, Brave
about it.
Souls.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Since we're talking very fast about mobile games, if you're a fan of RPG, I can't stress this enough. I highly recommend you to play Lord of Heroes. It's
Mm.
one of the best main character I've ever played as. He is fucking wise, and he makes too much sense to the point. Look it up,
Yeah.
Lord of Heroes. It's very fun. It,
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
I love his character because he is real. He felt genuine. And other than that, let's talk gaming. Well, gaming news. Let's start with the first topic. Spartacus got revealed, and lo and behold, people can't read because what's their name? Even before it was revealed, people were already reporting on it that it is not a Game Pass equivalent. This is literally something else. This is just a rebranding. And people were shocked that was no day in date.
Yeah.
And people are, well, I say people, but mostly Xbox dudes that are mad about it, which again boggles my mind. Why an Xbox dude would be mad at PlayStation when you don't even fuck with PlayStation like that?
Mm.
But I guess they wanna be mad, so be mad. And the interesting part is you're getting more games on PlayStation and you're getting it for cheaper. Which is okay, so it depends. If you're buying it monthly, then it's cheaper to have Game Pass. If you're buying it yearly, then you're way better, cheaper with what's called with PlayStation Plus, PlayStation Now basically, which is now it's called PlayStation Premium. Um, a very quick rundown. There is the normal one. There is the one where you pay extra and you get PlayStation 3 and 4 games with it, and you get extra trials. I like the concept of extra trials, but it's coming for them to put it behind payment, especially the final tier. Like, I would be interested in trials and I would love to make use of it, even though I don't fuck with PS Now. I just want it for the trial. But it's fucking insane for them to put trial locked behind premium. That I do find that disgusting. I'm curious what you guys' opinion about that. I'm gonna start with Ghost. Are you interested?
Um,
Mm.
but me, not necessarily. I mean, I've got all the games I can handle. I might check it out and see what it's about, but I honestly didn't buy a PS5 to play PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 1 and PSP games. I mean, that's my thoughts. The demos are a nice idea, but I I buy the games that I want anyways. I don't need to demo it. And if I get burnt like I did on Elden Ring, I'll just have to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I'm a different breed. I'm kind of off brand, but that's just how I think of it, man. And so I buy the games that I want, the games that interest me, and if they're duds, they're duds. If they're awesome, they're awesome. But I'm not really. I mean, I have a PS2, I have a PS3, I have a PS1, and if I was playing those games, then I'd play them, and I'm just not. So I don't need to pay extra. Now, as far as the value proposition, I mean, it is. Game Pass and this new PlayStation Plus experience is really good for especially like new gamers or people that want to buy themselves a backlog, uh, or want to have that nostalgia factor. Right, I get it. Um, and so there are pluses to both Game Pass and to this new supposed service, and I see the value in it. And I think why the Xbox dudes were mad were just that's their only fallback. Game Pass, Game Pass, Game Pass, and so now that I guess PlayStation has a version of it, it's cheaper, it offers more games, and so now they fall back on there's no day and date. And we already have discussed why that's not going to happen, and I'm sure that's probably a topic. But the simple fact is, they're angry and they're mad, or whatever the case may be, is just because just like Quick Resume and VRR and everything else, those narratives are slowly getting chipped away.
Yeah, because genuinely they need validation.
Mm-hmm.
Validation for what's called for Game Pass. Because if PlayStation would have followed with Game Pass, then this would have been their aha moment. See, we told you
Right.
so. But with PlayStation not doing it, they're literally fighting with senators now for that. We're gonna talk about that. That's fucking funny. Um, Kay, hey, welcome, Kay.
Hey,
You made it.
yes,
How are you?
I'm doing good. Sorry I'm late. I just getting to work, so.
It's okay. What you been playing and what's your thoughts on this PlayStation Spartacus?
Um, I'm still playing Horizon Forbidden West because I'm trying to do absolutely everything. Um, I'm 2 trophies away from the plat. I could go ahead and get it, but how I play games is I play through the end, and then I do what I want to do, and then whatever trophies are left over after I've done everything, then I go for them. So I have 2 left till I hit the flat. And then I'm also playing Tiny Tina's Wonderland.
Gotcha. And what's your thoughts on Spartacus?
I mean, I think it's good. It's great for the people that were wanting, like they were wanting to have a package deal plus and now and then have like the extra added benefits they have to it. But other than that, for me personally, it hasn't changed because I only want PlayStation Plus. If I wanted PlayStation Now, I would have already had it. So for me, it hasn't changed, and I think it's great for the people that are wanting to go into the higher tiers. It benefits them, but for me, it's like okay, nothing new,
Nothing changes for you.
nothing.
So, are you mad that PlayStation is not doing day and day?
No.
Gotcha.
Because like I buy my games. Like if a game interests me enough to want to play it, I'm gonna buy it. So I don't rent games. I don't stream games. I'm gonna buy it whether that's digitally or physically.
Gotcha. Sub-Viperary, Morgan, what's your thoughts on Spartacus, and are you upset that you're not getting day and day?
It's honestly exactly what I thought it would be. I was not expecting day and date. I don't know why people were surprised that we didn't get day and date. It's very evident that we were not going to get day and date, and I have no issues with that because, like, hey, I buy my games. If I want it, I'll buy it. Am I going to get Spartacus? No. I mean, I was going to integrate it because I already have PS Now, but of course, my subscription ended in June, right when they're about to haul out the new PlayStation Plus. But no, I have no plans on getting it. I already own all the games that they're including: the Returnal, Miles, Spider-Man, the other games. So yeah, that really doesn't interest me in the slightest. And I don't know why people thought this would be a Game Pass competitor. It was very evident that journalists were they were basically setting it up as a Game Pass competitor or trying to label it as a Game Pass competitor.
To be fair, not everyone. There was a lot
Okay,
more
not everyone, but a lot of journalists were labeling it. Oh, look, this is Sony's Game Pass competitor, and like when I actually
one of the bigger ones actually called it what it is, which is basically a branding. It's some of the ones that want the clicks. They call it but
that's
I
very
have
true.
my own theory on it, and I will say it after after everyone
you're
finishes.
good.
Go ahead.
But yeah, and like when you actually read, like if you didn't just believe the headline and you read the details of exactly what it is. When I read it, I was like, this doesn't sound anything like Game Pass. It just sounds like they're consolidating PS Plus and PS Now and merging it, because PS Now has never been really that popular. So it makes sense that PlayStation will want to, bring it with their more popular subscription of PS Plus and just make it one thing. I was like, I didn't ever see this as a competitor. And the only people who are crying about it is, of course, the Xbox fanboys. And I feel like they knew it wasn't going to be day and date, but they're crying about it because we all know they want validation for Game Pass.
Yep.
And the only people who can do that is Sony. So if Sony does it, then, oh, look, see, Game Pass isn't bad. Day and date isn't bad. See, it's good for the industry. What were y'all talking about? So, yeah, this was their moment that they wanted, and they didn't get it. So
They can't use that talking point right now.
you said what?
They can't use that talking point right now, and it's
Exactly.
eating them up.
Exactly.
And another thing that kind of crushed her spirit was when Jim Ryan came out and pretty much explained.
I'm gonna cover that after this entire thing. Don't worry, I didn't forget about that. Anything else you wanna add, Bongren?
Oh no, that was it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Morgan said, exactly what we expected it to be. Just a rebranding of the service or a tiered service. Nothing day and date. I mean, yeah. people are upset because their narrative broke down, or they just want to use it as ammunition. Like, look, PlayStation is not doing day and date, so our service is more valuable.
Yep.
Only thing I want to say to that is wait until November.
No, which is even crazier. If PlayStation go to date, Game Pass is eviscerated.
That's what I'm
If
thinking. I'm
you
like, do
compare,
y'all really
if you
want that though?
compare, if you
Y'all don't want those
compare
problems.
PlayStation games to Xbox, like it's no context. Xbox is literally stuck in last generation. If not PlayStation 3 era, I think I would even make an argue to it. PlayStation is literally in the PlayStation 5 generation. They are stuck at best in PlayStation 4 generation with their game.
Hmm.
And
Anyone else? We
can manage studios, but I guess that's another topic.
gotcha.
Let me ask.
That'll be the topic for tomorrow.
Just wanna make sure that I didn't forget you, Nate. Go ahead. What's your thought on this one?
Yeah, I mean, same deal. I don't care about the subscription stuff. I mean, I didn't care about PS Now for what the last since it was Gaikai originally till now. So them
Hmm.
rebranding it doesn't make me give a shit.
Let me ask you this then. If with PlayStation Now, and I'm hitting you at it because I know what your favorite game of all time is. If you have the ability now to play it on PlayStation, would you or not?
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, but like I mean that's like a month or something. Like I'm not
Yeah,
subscribing
I feel you.
for a year to play the one game.
I
Like
feel
cuz
you.
also the main problem is I don't own it, which pisses me off because I already bought
Mm.
it digitally and I own it on my PS Vita, so I can already play it.
Oh,
And
okay.
I also have PlayStation TV, so I can actually play it on there as well. So I have the
Multiple
benefit
ways.
of having multiple devices that already give me that access, as well as monstrous PC emulation. So yeah, like it's a hard no with the very very light exception of if they finally added like trophies, which supposedly is going to be the thing.
So,
So trophies would be like an enticing thing to make me like want to then play it on. That would give me a reason to play it on the service if that's the only way that we could do it. But I personally don't think it should be locked to that. I think they need to. It should acknowledge that I already own Xenogears and Suikoden 2 and so on and so forth. And if they add those features, they should just be added to those natively, not
not
just
no
via the
trophy.
service.
So no trophy for the game.
No, I'm saying if they do that.
Uh,
I don't.
and also, do we know if because I didn't read the entire thing because I never
So
cared about it.
supposedly whatever that. So somebody asked the other day. Was it, I can't remember his name right now, but he asked why there's 4,000 plus PS2, PS3 games, and so on and so forth. Why are they not just all slapped on the service? Well, apparently the reason is because they are adding trophies to all the games that they mentioned that they're putting on the service.
Okay, so
So
then going to play the Xbox route with it. How
yeah,
Xbox was doing it
there's
one by one.
yeah, so there's a reason they're holding them back for a moment because they actually there is work that actually needs to be done on them before they just put them on there. They're not just slapping it on there.
Gotcha.
So that was something that I discovered when I looked at someone who's like a huge trophy hunter, and he mentioned this. They're taking a very specific route, which I think is smart. Each of them will only have 10 gold trophies. So and the 11th will be the platinum. So they're taking a very specific route with adding any of them that are retro adding trophies. So they're not creating some huge 48, trophy list or something.
So is it getting an upscale? Because I'm not a technical when it comes to that, but I do know if you run Psychonauts on PlayStation versus Xbox, the the Psychonauts 1 runs not only better, but it looks better on Xbox versus on PlayStation. Because with PlayStation, you're basically getting the PlayStation 1 version, but with Xbox, you get it upscaled. Do we know if the games are gonna get upscaled or not? Because that's gonna
So
be also a
the,
huge
that
factor.
that I haven't seen, but the one thing I will say to that, as far as Xbox goes, is you're talking about like if you're talking about like there's a big difference in talking about like a PS3 game versus like PS1 because you got to remember Xbox didn't even exist during the
Not
PS1
PS1,
era.
PS2. Sorry, PS2, PS2. I think Psychonauts was a PS2 game. I think. So
So
here's the thing.
I think I
I
could see
bought.
some stuff there, but PS1, anything you do to affect the aspect ratio or anything you try to smooth out or something, it's gonna just look weird. They have to be native. They're just gonna have to leave it alone. They're just in that SD format, and it's just there's nothing you could do that isn't just gonna mess them up.
I truly hope that they upscale it, cause especially so. As for me, I'm interested in a few games like with Valkyrie Elysium now being announced. I've always wanted to play Valkyrie Profile, but I never owned a Vita. I owned a Vita, but I gave it to my niece. So um, I'm definitely gonna subscribe just for 1 month or 2 months to play Valkyrie Profile 1, 2, I think 3 if it exists, and you know me, I'm gonna definitely play Final Fantasy Crisis Core. Like, I need to replay that game. Other than that, I will look up a few games that I missed on PlayStation Vita that I wanna play. There's a game called something something Soul that
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
it's an interesting game according to Kofi. So and I'm definitely gonna ask Kofi for a few games that he can recommend for Vita, which I'm pretty sure is gonna come with a list from here all the way to Tokyo and around the globe. Zarek, how do you feel about this one? Are you interested?
Nah, not interested. Like everybody else said, I buy my games, and, and that's it, man. I don't care for subscription service. I don't care for those, man. Um, that's why I bought a PS3. Um, I play my PS3 games. I don't need a subscription service to play those. And I still got my PS1 and my PS2. I don't need that. I don't need none of that trash. But that's it.
Gotcha. As for me, again, you said it. I hate subscription services, but for these games only, and the one that innate favorite game ever, I wanna finish it. I played it on my laptop, and the game eventually broke down on me, and I couldn't progress further. And um, here is this. So you know me, I all calls out is so part of why this entire thing happened with people compare it to Game Pass. I actually blame it on Jim Ryan himself, which I'm gonna go to the next subject with. Jim Ryan said that uh, going day and date would hamper what's called quality of games, and I want to give a big shout out to uh, Persona. When Persona Speak had an interview, almost like a mini rant, with a dude by the name of Deli. He is an ex lead designer, I think, on Ubisoft. He worked on Watch Dogs Legion. Persona had him and me and Ghost and other people. Shout out to Link, shout out to everyone that was there. I highly recommend you to go watch uh, that episode, because the amount of stuff Daly shared about how Game Pass operates, it's scary. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ghost, because you have better hearing than I do. Did Delhi not say that if if you as a company didn't meet your quota, Microsoft can steal your IP?
So what he said was like if you didn't like, there were certain like in-house quotas or um, in-house like goals that you had to meet, and if you didn't meet them within a certain time frame, Microsoft could then, or Xbox could then take your IP. And he said, so sometimes they would set unrealistic expectations, and that would end up in you losing your IP or losing the ability to to make any money off your game. I mean, when he said that, I was it was all like a whoa moment. I don't know of any instance of that happening, but I could definitely see, you know, uh, why. I could see that happening, and that's why a lot of why those Xbox games look like shit, or run like hell when performance-wise. You know what I'm saying? So,
Thank you, because
to him right now.
I have bad hearing, so when I heard it, I was like, maybe I misheard it, but I needed someone like you, because I was very glad that you was there, so you could uh, be the quote-unquote person that was actually there, that with the actual information. And not only that, Delhi confirmed the importance of not only reviews but also Metacritic. And apparently, this is a true told story. Obsidian had a game. They were promised around 10k bonuses, right?
Yeah, I heard that.
Go 10k bonuses.
Yeah, there was a bonus if they hit like a 90 something Metacritic or a 91 Metacritic, and they end up getting an 89.
Yeah. So one point, which is I would not be surprised if PlayStation had a similar. And by the way, this issue that I'm talking about, this is not only specifically for Microsoft or PlayStation. This is industry-wide issue. It was by Obsidian. They had right, or they were talked about 10k bonuses. Imagine that for yourself right now. You're promised 10k bonuses if your game gets 90 plus on Metacritic, and you get a 89. Sorry about that. 89 on Metacritic. 1 point, and they didn't get their bonuses, and they end up leaving the company. And when I first heard about it, I couldn't believe myself. I say we, I'm talking about the people that want a console war. People are console warring and focusing on PlayStation good, Xbox bad, this, that, Game Pass, Game Pass, Game Pass, instead of actually focusing on what's the actual shit that's happening in this industry, which is the sexualization, which is the whole concept of Metacritic and reviews, almost having like a chokehold on the industry. And I asked Delhi, have there never been a moment where unionization was an option to try and get free from this situation? And he told me they got crushed very fast. Apparently, Q&A testers wanted from Activision to not revolve around reviews and Metacritic, and they were crushed in an instant.
Yeah, Ravensoft, right?
Sorry?
That was Ravensoft, I believe.
No, Ravensoft, thank you. I mean, my bad hearing is an issue, is genuine an issue.
But they're part of Activision. That was true.
Oh, so they are part of. Okay, so I did hear that. Thank you. So I'm gonna before I give it up to the audience, one last thing, which is what I want to say. The whole thing, Jim Ryan saying doing game date is gonna make bad, gonna result in less quality games. I believe him. I genuinely do. Microsoft have the money. PlayStation doesn't have the money. because Xbox is operating under Microsoft. They are $1 trillion company. Sony is not $1 trillion company. Other than that, Jim Ryan said two things that shot himself in the foot, but one of them was very smart. The other of them is very stupid. The first one that he said is, we have a Game Pass competitor or something like that, or I remember in one of the interview he said they're working on a competitor for Game Pass or something like that.
I think it's an answer to it, right?
I forgot which one interview it was, but he did mention that it's gonna be not per se competition to Game Pass, but something to rival Game Pass. So when you say something like that, you're gonna give people the ammunition to use it against Game Pass. That was the first stupid thing. The second stupid thing, which again I understand why he did it, and Weeb, you have issue with what he said because it's gonna breed what we're gonna find out soon enough. Is when he said going day and date is not part of the plan right now. So when he left us right now, I'm not gonna lie. When it comes to political talk, that's genius one-on-one. Cause
No, absolutely not. I disagree.
let me explain why. Then you can give your 2 cents. I'm gonna go to you because I know you're against it, and I am as much against it as you, Weeb, but I understand it. I understand it because he's a spokesperson for PlayStation. Well, he is actually a leader from PlayStation, but still, he's also a spokesperson. So, if he said we're never gonna go day and date, in a year or 3, 4, you're gonna see them start doing day and date, which again, I believe day and date for PlayStation is gonna happen sooner than later. I truly believe it, and I'm gonna die on that hill, because I was one of the few people that actually called it out. PlayStation putting their big blockbuster games on PC. Everyone was looking at me like, you crazy. PlayStation games sell millions. They're never gonna do that. I'm like, yeah, no, Microsoft see Monkey do. PlayStation gonna look at what Microsoft is doing, they're gonna follow. Easy. So with him saying never, and then proceed to do it, they're gonna call him a liar. They're gonna so see he backpedal, lying Jim. Now with him saying don't what's called you never know or something of that equivalent. I don't want to quote to use as quote because I forgot what he exactly said verbatim, but it was on the level of don't say never, don't say never or something like that. He left room for it to happen, and for when if it happened or when it happened, you can't turn around and look at Jim Ryan and say you lied. Look at the quote. He never lied. He left the door open, which is why I said, as much as I hate it, as a PlayStation fan, I understand it. As what's called um, business person. I'm gonna go to Weave because you're the most outspoken about this. First, what's your thought on the Persona interview with Daly? And second, what's your thoughts on the whole Jim Ryan situation?
Oh, that's a lot to ask. Yeah, I've listened to the interview. It was quite enlightening. By the way, I don't think he said that Microsoft can take your IP. He was talking about publishers and how publisher deals work. But what he said was quite, as I said, scary in the sense that he did demonstrate how that actually will affect the quality of games. That when you make a deal like that, you need to push your game through. You don't have the option to say, okay, we want more money or we want more time. No, you have to deliver something, and you will see a lot of sameness of game design because they need to put games out there that meet these sort of monetization targets, right? Depending on what the deal is. But if it's like hours played, for example, yeah, you need to have you're going to see open world games, a lot of roguelike games where uh, you know you can spend a lot of hours in it without ever finishing the game. So yeah, that's I mean, unless you like that, but I do want to see some variety in my games, and I have a particular taste of games that might not be Game Pass material. So yeah, it is definitely was enlightening. Definitely, shows you that yeah, going to subscription model for everything for gaming, isn't necessarily not even the smartest idea for purely from a perspective of um, business, right? That it's not comparable to Netflix, the way we consume games as opposed to how we consume TV shows and movies. But yeah, also how that could, if it actually ever gets to that point where it's going to be the standard, and supplants, the way we consume games right now, yeah, that could be frightening because it could lead to a diminishing quality and yeah, a sort of uniformity of games because those are the games that these developers need to make sure that they actually get paid and actually get make their money back and can stay afloat. Yeah, that's kind of scary. So I agree with you on that one, but also quite lightning. And yeah, definitely was an interesting watch. And indeed, anybody who hasn't seen it or heard it, yeah, recommend going to back to it. Um, as for Jim Ryan, yeah, I disagree with you on that one because I think what he should have done is not address it. Because if you're gonna do something like that, you're gonna basically leave a seed of doubt. Because people will take it whatever they want to take it, but there will be people who won't take it and say, "Oh, see, PlayStation is going to go at some point. They're going to go day and date with their games and the subscription service. So they know that okay, there is no point in buying your games because subscribe to subscription service. At some point, those games will come in there, and that's that might end up sort of like maybe not directly, but it will lead to some sort of
Hmm.
self-fulfilling prophecy. Because if you're gonna say that, then you create a certain audience for that. You create
Let me.
you're basically setting yourself up for failure in that sense because you're basically
Hmm.
telling people that could happen, and some people will take that. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna
Let
wait. I'm,
Let me say one thing to counter that. I say we because I said it. I said the exact same thing about PlayStation doing PC, going to the PC road. And look what happened. People are actually buying PlayStation just to play Forbidden West.
I
So,
know, but there's difference to that because you are, um, with going to PC. I think the reason behind that, I know what Sean Lane said, but I think the current strategy behind because that could have changed, of course, is that they're basically saying, okay, look, we're never gonna get people, who are only on PC to buy PlayStation to play our games. That's not going to happen. So what we're going to do, we're just going to put our games on PC because if we want to get make money off those people, yeah, we have to just bring the games to them. I get that, but this is different because he should have just left it there. Just because you're saying okay, smart because they can't call him a liar. It doesn't matter. You can twist it. I mean, he can. I mean, we're already calling him a liar because of the thing with we believe in generations. But even that, he can twist that, say, yeah, but if you look at it that way, I was actually right. I mean, I think even Sean Lane said, like, you could interpret it in a way that doesn't make him a liar. So, and I don't think he really cares about that much that um, that he yeah has to not say anything that could be considered a lie in the future. I mean, look at Phil Spencer. How many things has he had to backtrack? VR, uh, you know, single
The
player
difference
stuff.
is in my opinion, Phil Spencer is on social media. Jim Ryan is not. See, here
Jim
is the
Ryan,
difference.
it's on
Phil,
social media. No, that's not true.
Phil Spencer, no, Jim Ryan doesn't have social media. He doesn't
I
have a
think
Twitter.
I think he has a Twitter, but
He doesn't.
okay.
He doesn't. He actually doesn't have a Twitter, which is wild to begin with. Here's the biggest issue with Phil Spencer. Phil Spencer says one thing, but perceived to do something else. For example, he hates console war, yet on what's called on Twitter right now. If you go to his
Yeah,
Twitter account and look at who is he follow the most toxic people on Xbox. That's the difference between the two. Phil Spencer's habit is lying, while with Jim Ryan, he's just lying for being corporate. So
yeah, but the difference, the problem here is that purely from you say from a strategic perspective, from a business perspective, it doesn't matter. You can actually lie and get away with it because look at Phil Spencer. Or let's say be creative with the truth, right? Just say something, and when it turns out, it was bullshit, then you can just say, "Oh yeah." I mean, you don't even have to say anything because don't think Phil Spencer's ever actually uh, uh, excused himself or made excuses for why he said something in the past and now has come back on it. Now, people are making those excuses for him. The fans are making those excuses for him. He doesn't have to do anything. And that's sort of, I mean, I know Jim Ryan is not Phil Spencer, but that also tells you you don't need to be. The only reason why Jim Ryan would be concerned with that is if it's personally upsets him if people call him a liar, and that's the only thing that only argument that I would accept because from what I've seen from interviews, he's not actually that comfortable publicly speaking. He's actually from his background, he's actually not, maybe not the same as Phil Spencer. He's not maybe he's a bit more introverted. I don't know, but he's a different kind of person than that, and that's the only reason why or the only argument I would accept that he made that statement because he doesn't want to be called a liar. But professionally, I'd say, if you're, in the position he is in, you don't have to do that. You don't have to be concerned about it because you can always later say, even if he just said, okay, yeah, look, we're never going to do that, and I don't know, 2 years, 5 years later, they're going to go day and date. Yeah, look, circumstances change, right? Market changed, business changed. You don't have to. You're not a liar. That you can say, okay, well, at that point in time, I believe it was the truth. Now it's no longer the
now
truth.
this is
That's kind of what he said, though.
I 1 second. I disagree with that because when things change, and even with Phil Spencer, when things change, you're gonna be called out a liar on that, whether you like it or not. That's basically
But,
how it is.
yeah, but the thing is, you care, I care, but in the end, nobody that matters cares about this. The public at large doesn't care about this. The industry doesn't care about this. In the end, it's all about making money, making profit. So they won't care that you had to have to backtrack on something you said in the past. The thing, and yeah, it goes. I agree. He said that, but the thing is, he said that right now. What I'm arguing is he didn't need to address that right now. He could have just, if 5 years from now it turns out that what he said or that what he didn't say right now has come to fruition, that the opposite has come true, that games are going day and day into subscription service. So what? He can just say, okay, yeah, things have
Yeah, I
changed,
agree.
the market has changed. He doesn't have to make any excuses. But right now, because he said that, he's making people doubt. He's making potential consumers could think, okay, So you're saying that right now? Well, what about a year from now? Maybe I'm going to wait buying games in PlayStation games because next year there could be day and date and subscription services.
I'm
I think
gonna
he got.
go.
I think he got so much pushback from the whole, when there was a thing when PlayStation games wouldn't come to PC, and he even alluded to that.
Yeah.
If you read like the article or the article, and even if you listen to the podcast, when he said, you don't think things could change. I mean, never would we have thought, PlayStation games exclusive would be coming to PC, and so there's a lot of determining factors, and so he was just using corporate speak. But I agree with you. Like I would have just left it there on the table. I wouldn't have put it out there because social media and fanboys and people tend to run with whatever they hear what they want to hear, and they run with it, in the narrative that they want to run with it, right? So yeah, I agree with you. He probably shouldn't have, said just left it over there, like, hey, this is our subscription service, right, and kept it moving, and not, said what he had said. So, but as a person in my line of work, like that. He's kind of that double speak, right? And that's just kind of corporate jargon, and I get why he said it. And I agree with you. I don't think he should have said it because now he has to explain himself when that time comes, if it comes.
Gotcha. And hey, how do you feel about this one? Okay, yeah, I thought so. I wanted to see. I wanted to check. Morgan, how do you feel about this one?
So wait, what was the original question?
I hate you.
No, I'm serious. What was the original question?
I'm joking. No. It's a two-part question. One,
Okay.
did you listen to the Persona interview?
No.
Okay. So then we're gonna skip that. The whole situation with Jim Ryan leaving the door open, and do you agree what he did? And him saying that games going day and date would result in lesser quality games. Do you agree with that?
I understand why he left the door open. Like he's been dunked on a lot this generation for things that
Exactly.
he's definitively
Ryan
said,
Gimmis.
and then backtracked or did the opposite, and then he got called out for it. Like, oh, but that's not what you said. Yada yada. You said it was going to be this way, and then turned out to be that way. So I get the business strategy behind leaving the door open because things can always change. So I mean, I do agree that unfortunately, in some way, shape, or fashion, PlayStation games will probably be day and date in their service. I don't want that. I don't look, to me, PlayStation, the quality of PlayStation games mean everything to me. They're my favorite games. I don't want anything inhibiting the quality of the games that I enjoy so much. So I don't mind paying extra $10 for games that I want. I've never really bought the $60 version of games anyway, so I was always paying above the average price regardless. So it never really bothered me when games went up. But I do think that putting games day and date will hinder the quality in some way. That's a lot of money lost. Like this, because let's be real. If that were to happen, like that subscription service would be like very successful for PlayStation as far as the number of subscriptions. And I think in order to recuperate, what they lost from sales, we would have to make smaller games, make games that are a lower budget. The scale for these games wouldn't be as big and ambitious as they always are. And I don't want that. So I am all for buying my games. I don't want subscription. But, the way these companies work, I feel like, it's inevitable. And it's unfortunate. But yeah.
Gotcha. And hey, you here? No, still.
Yeah.
Yeah. I understand. I don't understand what you're saying, but go ahead, give me your opinion, and then you can do your own thing while we finish the subject.
So it's not that complicated. Leaving the door open is typical PR bullshit conversation. It's not complicated. It's not about Jim Ryan. It's about how you speak as a PR person, and that's it. That's not even complicated. So there's that. Um, and then as far as what y'all were talking about with the whole persona interview thing, um, I mean, yeah, that sucks, but I don't know, tough shit. Like it's the publisher's IP, so I mean, when you sign on for shit, you gotta deal with what you sign on for. So I mean, it sucks, but I mean, it is what it is. And I mean, as far as the Metacritic thing, I mean, we already kind of spoke on that in general. That obviously that shit sucks, but again, you sign on with who you sign on with. Uh, like I told you with Rob, or the animator or whatever that works for Santa Monica, when he was talking about how bad the interview was for Call of Duty when he was interviewing for that team, and he was like, "This shit is like the worst shit I've ever heard." And as an animator, so I mean, immediately, like, not only did he not get the job, but he was happy he didn't get the job, and probably would have turned it down because from the jump, that's how bad the premise was just for that job. So if something sounds like it's not for you, I mean, some of these people just got to learn to say no. And I think that's where the industry is going to need to grow the fuck up at some point. Like we talking about a bunch of grown ass people who are out here making decisions the same as we got to. So yeah, I'm tired of babying some of these people like they're fucking 10 years old or in middle school. These are a bunch of grown ass people who can get the fuck up and walk out the building. People need to learn to man the fuck up. I'm sorry. So yeah, that's it.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. What's your thought?
So I didn't watch the interview. Sorry. But
You can skip that.
Yeah, that when he was talking about, because I heard a little bit about the IP thing. So it's like, yeah, I feel like that's horrible what they did. But at the same time, they're the ones that signed the contract. If they didn't like it, they shouldn't have signed it, you know. But I'm not excusing though for that business practice though. But they're the ones that did sign themselves up for it. And
do
then
you know?
yeah.
Do you know why they did that though?
Why?
Because according to Delhi, and again, Ghost, you can quote me if I'm wrong, and even Weave, you can quote me on that. After the game is shipped, they don't get any money out of it. I don't even think they get money from DLC, right? Ghost and Weave, do they get money from DLC? Okay, but
I don't remember. I don't remember him saying that. I don't remember that.
I do remember them saying that the reason why they agreed to that stuff is because as a developer, after you're done working on a game, you put on a different team. So if you have the ability to make more money, you're gonna take it.
So
Well, then
the problem
if
with
they're
that
okay,
statement though,
1 second.
the problem with that statement though is that Delhi only worked for like one company. So we obviously have already seen that several companies work vastly differently than some of the others conduct themselves. So while that may have been the case for Ubisoft in that particular time frame in which he was there, that can't be said as an industry wide practice.
Interesting. I'm gonna try to have Delhi on. We can have him interviewed here.
Hey, Omar, but I think we're mixing two things up because he was talking as I think what he was talking about as a developer, as an employee. He didn't get anything after the game shipped, right? Because he was on the payroll. He didn't get, maybe get a bonus, but he didn't get anything, in terms of profit sharing. But as a developer, as a company, right? That's different because usually what happens is, at least that's what I understand from how it works, is that, yeah, with a publisher, they fund the game. They usually pay in milestones. So if you finish a certain portion of the game, you get your next part of the budget. And afterwards, they only see a profit if the game sells a certain amount. After they sell a certain amount of units, then they get royalties, right? So for most developers, it's not very interesting after if they're doing publishing deal after the game ships. They usually they get the money from the publisher, and that's about it. They don't see anything else.
Thank you.
So and with losing the IP, that was basically if they don't deliver, right? If they don't deliver the game, then the publisher can say, okay, look, you're not going to finish it. Fine, we're going to take the IP and we go to another developer and have them finish the game. And that makes sense, of course, because you're basically subcontracting work, and you don't want to be left with nothing in the end when the developer doesn't finish the game, and then you couldn't have anybody else finish it because the developer owns the IP.
Gotcha. Thank you for correcting me. Anything else you want to say, Kay?
On the Jim Ryan thing, I agree with Nate too on that end, where he's part of their job, like Jim Ryan and Phil Spencer, is to be out there for PR and to say whatever they need to say to make their company look good. And if at that moment it's good for him to come out and say, yeah, we're not gonna do it, or we're not doing it right now, that's what's gonna make PlayStation people happy. So yeah, he's gonna say it. And I know that like we were saying, like at least doubt in some people's minds that well, maybe they will do it, like in the future. But I feel like him not saying anything at all would create bigger doubt. So I feel like that he felt like he had to say something about it to make people happy.
Oh, interesting. So you believe that by not saying anything at all, you create even more doubt?
Yes. Yes.
With that, I disagree. Was that an interesting statement from your end?
Well,
Gotcha.
it's like you come out with these things that people were saying was gonna be pathetic.
Is it me or is she a little bit cutting off?
What?
A bit.
Is she cutting off a little bit for you guys, or just on my end?
No, I heard it too.
Continue.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
do.
Okay. But so when you don't say anything at all, it's like, well, he didn't say anything, So that's I feel like we get people more riled up over him not saying anything because sometimes not saying anything, can actually be admitting to something, and so by him not saying anything, it's like, oh my gosh, they might actually do it, But with him at least saying it, for now, it will the moment, and that's just kind of what they're doing is they're living moment by moment. Whatever that they're doing what they want to hear, and then later on when they lose their minds and do something different, or they go against what they originally said. Like everybody else was saying, it's like, oh, well, the market's changed, or they're going to come up with, some excuse. And then they'll come out with some big news about a game, and then everyone will, move on to the next big news thing. That's just how news goes.
Gotcha. Rex, do you have anything to add to this one?
Nah. Been working too much to pay attention to all that.
Mm, gotcha. Um, the final topic is undead living trouble. Um, Weeb, did you read about it or what?
But on that labs,
Yeah.
yeah, I did.
Can you break it down?
Yeah, it turns out that undead labs also has quite a toxic work culture, especially towards women. From what I read, it didn't sound like there was, yeah, it's extreme as Activision, but yeah, apparently women weren't taken seriously. Anything they said was dismissed. They were assumed to yeah, take notes during meetings as if they were secretaries. There were, yeah, I'd say there was some sexual harassment there. Um, so yeah, it wasn't a pleasant working environment if you were a woman in the company. They were quite, I guess, had a quite outdated mentality regarding female developers, and I think there were also very few eventually working there still. But yeah, it is, and yeah, this kind of, yeah, I guess a result of Microsoft's sort of hands-off approach studios to the point that, despite claiming themselves that they're quite, conscientious about how people are treated in work in Microsoft, it seems that because of the hands-off approach, it doesn't really apply to these new studios that have been acquired. And well, I'll say new because, and that last was acquired, I think, in 2018. So almost 4 years. So yeah, it does look like they didn't make any attempt to change that work culture. So, and that possibly could also have something to do with why, even though I think they announced that uh, what's it called? Save the K3. They announced that, and I think they also announced that maybe 2018 or 2019. I don't know, but we
Hey,
haven't heard anything about that game in a while. So it could also be have trouble development because they also have a problematic work environment.
so from what I understood, it because Microsoft was too lenient on them and gave them the the freedom to do how they play it, it resulted in the so is it just me or does it seem to be whether Microsoft gives them too much freedom or handcuffs them too much, the result seems to be the same. Microsoft generally doesn't seem to know how to cultivate uh, a studio, it seems, or basically to run a studio. That's how it seems to me. Am I wrong? Am I missing the point here?
Oh no, they completely lack any ability to manage a studio. That's clear.
What did you say?
I said it's very clear that they lack any ability to manage these studios.
Interesting. Um, I'm gonna go to you, Nate. Uh, what do you think of this one?
Um, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's pretty obvious with the whole thing. I mean, like I said, I don't know anything about the allegations. I mean, I saw the stuff, but that's all in a court. But yeah, as far as whether or not they know how to manage the studios, obviously, damned if you do, damned if you don't. I guess kind of seems to be their
Oh,
situation
it
right
seems to
now.
be, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what can you do? Um,
I know what you can do. You can find us someone that can manage studios.
I mean, whether or not, I mean, that's an interview though. I mean, whether or not you hire somebody in an interview process that someone will say that wants the job will say they could do it, but doesn't mean someone's got to have enough time to be able to do it. And that job is clearly not easy. Like I said, that job is severely underestimated. And it's not just managing the studio. Like I was saying, that job is multifaceted and multi-leveled. as one thing that I was saying when we spoke about it before with PlayStation. Why is PlayStation as good as they are? Well, you're talking about multiple studios, multiple different levels. You're talking about someone who's at the very top, like Shuhei, who's going through all the studios, and now Herman Holst, and so on and so forth. But you're talking about producers in each of these studios, and then managers within those subsections that are then coordinating with all these teams that are then, and shit still comes out. Like, I think on one end, you got to question, like, how can someone manage a studio to a point to produce a product that you want? And then the other question is separate, which is the whole harassment thing and all that stuff, because that is not a gaming industry question. That is a business question, because that is literally everywhere right now.
But it's still gamer related because you should be able to manage your own studio.
No, I didn't say it wasn't. I said those are two different things, is what I
Oh,
said.
gotcha. I
One is
misheard you.
managing the product, and can you make a product, which PlayStation clearly is doing. What I'm saying is the other portion is business related, period, as in the whole sexual harassment thing you were talking about, or sexual allegations, or sexism, because all this isn't sexual harassment, it's sexism, meaning they're saying because of point A was made, I felt like point B equals sexism. So you're it's starting to, it gets to the point where it turns into a bunch of semantics. But the reason why I said that's a business related thing, obviously,
Because it
video
happens in
game
every
companies
industry.
are business. I'm saying it's in
Yeah.
every industry. It's not exclusive, which is something that often gets parroted on Twitter. Is people exclusively or focus on, man, this is such a problem in the games industry. No, this is everywhere. But also at the same time, like I said, you got to be careful of some things, because some people call things, and I said people need to be careful of word slinging, and I said this for gamers and everyone alike. People often label things something it is not, because that is either the popular happenings or the popular wording or phrasing for something, but it doesn't mean they labeled it the correct thing. If you put a hot pocket in the microwave and someone calls it a pizza, or a small pizza, that is fucking wrong. It is a hot pocket. You see what I'm saying? Just because it's got
I never had
just
a hot pocket, but okay.
yeah, but it's not a small pizza, is my point. But someone
Gotcha.
can call it that. You see what I'm saying? Because it has a lot of ingredients in it that is basically a small pizza. It is not a small pizza though. It is specifically
Let's
a
face
hot pocket.
reality. When it comes to basically, we're living in the whole Twitter system, and that's an echo chamber by itself. If most of the time, Twitter is used for control warning. No one actually
Yeah.
cares about this situation. However, if you broaden it out, I don't think other people doing it the way that you just describe it, in my opinion.
Well, no, I'm saying in general though, you have to be careful with all of it.
Oh yeah,
I'm
that's
saying
fair.
like
Yeah.
any wording or phrasing, because stuff comes out, and then like it's the thing I told you about the lesson on the show that I was watching, where I told you the guy was accused of sexual harassment, but he didn't rape anyone. But on the street when he was walking, a woman walked by him and yelled at him, "Rapist." You see what I'm saying? So the message is getting conflated and misconstrued, because if you've ever seen what they call the Chinese telephone, where you start
I know what you're talking about. I
yeah, you
can.
say one thing and then it gets to the other end and you're like, who the hell told you that? Because
Yeah.
the message is completely wrong. So basically the internet is the biggest version of Chinese telephone you've ever seen, and honestly your memory can fuck you over in and of itself. I could ask somebody, what did you eat for breakfast 2 weeks last Thursday? Most
Oh,
people don't remember what the fuck happened 2 weeks last Thursday unless something significant happened, like they had a doctor's appointment, or they went to a movie, or like very specific things, right, that happened on a date. But like if they just went to work and came home all that week, they're not going to be able to tell you most likely exactly what that was. You see what I'm saying? And that's just your memory versus yourself. Now look how close. That wasn't that far. 2 weeks ago, last Thursday. Like 2 weeks ago Thursday, what did you have for breakfast? Now, obviously, if you eat the same thing every day, that's fucking cheating. But
Yeah.
yeah, but I'm saying like if you
No,
tend to like mix it
I
up.
can't tell you. I can't tell you.
I had a stromboli, but some people would call it a hot pocket.
Okay.
I love it, Kay.
Ghost, what do you think about this whole situation? Thank you.
No. Uh, I got nothing.
You got nothing. Okay, interesting. Most of the time, you always have to. Oh, no. I'm gonna go back to you then. As someone that is a CEO of your own, where is it going wrong with Microsoft, do you think? And is there a way to fix it?
Yeah, that's the way to fix it. Let's, they need to revert everybody, take out the bad people, and then call it a day. That's the only thing I see. Mm, That's the only thing. They need some improvement in those areas, man. Microsoft needs a lot of improvement. They need to get their thoughts back into the motion. Learn some things about gaming, or they just need to get back to the drawing board and figure out different things instead of just throwing stuff out there and thinking it's a good game. No, they need to go back and just redo a lot of the stuff that they think is good to improve on what was wrong. That's what I think they should do.
Hmm.
That's about it.
I mean,
Ghost.
I mean, that's a whole culture. I mean, when you have undead labs and you have certain, you go and pick up Activision. I mean, just the simple fact that you didn't condone the actions of Activision, and then you proceeded to buy them. I mean, or try to buy them. I mean, it's a whole culture. And if you want to ask a question as far as like what can you do to change, there has to be a system of checks and balances. And because we don't know how Microsoft is
Yeah.
structured, or how connected their studios are, or who's all managing all 30 of the studios, but you don't see these same problems with we'll just say Sony, or you don't see these same problems with Nintendo. So whatever those two companies are doing with their in-house studios and their third-party studios and stuff like that, I mean, I think the first thing, you got to stop listening to the goofy ass Xbox. We hear you. We got to stop listening to these dudes, and you have to concentrate on what you truly are. See, the thing is, Microsoft's not a gaming company. Okay, they're just not. Okay, and so they have this lackadaisical approach because this is not their main. So this is not their main source of income or revenue. This is an afterthought, and it's something that they have an American foothold in. And so when games and these games are the priority, that's when you will start seeing things change, or hopefully you would think. But as long as they are concentrating on a service, and you got 25, however many million people, goofy ass people, indoctrined into this service, then nothing will change. The productivity won't change because they're still building for a service. And as long as you have people happy as hell about playing old ass games and getting indie titles and getting one or two games a year, if that, then nothing will change. And I don't think you have to change that whole culture and the whole mindset. They've made it so that it's a bad thing to buy games.
Ghost.
I mean.
Ghost, wait a second. Now you're going in this different direction. My focus
I'm
is
really not,
strictly. My focus though is strictly on how can Microsoft prevent this from happening.
Well, you don't go out and buy Activision, who's riddled with, you know what I'm saying? Because if you do something like that, then aren't you condoning that behavior? I mean, you're condoning it. So why wouldn't Undead Labs? Why wouldn't other companies under that umbrella think it's okay to do that? I mean, you just spent $70 billion on a company riddled with it. The owner's still there. I mean,
And that's I understand on your point of view, but is there no way for them to go hire someone big on the level of Shuei Ishida that can manage studios better? Or Microsoft, so here is my thing with Microsoft. Where is the investors in all of this? Can you imagine if this was your company goal?
Yeah, but you're missing that
But
Microsoft is who they're invested in, and Microsoft is making the money. They're not specifically investing in Xbox as a company. They're investing in Microsoft. So investors don't really give a shit.
yeah, I think too many people lump Xbox in. Like Xbox is the reason Microsoft is successful. That's not the case at all, right?
No.
Microsoft is the reason that Xbox exists, and until you deprogram these people, it won't ever happen, right? But until you can able to deprogram people and you can differentiate the two, and as long as Microsoft's pockets are as deep as they are, like I said, they'll just be sustainable. They'll stay with their 25, 30, 40 million subs, you know what I'm saying? And they'll plateau because there's no innovation, there's no accountability, there's no system of checks and balances, and you'll get drip fed games, you'll get drip fed content. I mean, it's just what it is. And unfortunately, it's sad for the industry, and too many people are blinded to that fact. When you got people over here capping because Microsoft's $2 trillion company, I'm like, and I mean, and what have they provided for you? The controllers, VRR, proprietary memory cards. What about the main thing that you spent $500 on, which is games? And that's until you get past that, then it's just really. I mean, all we can do is sit here and play Sifu and Ghostwire Tokyo and Forspoken and God of War and Final Fantasy 16. I mean, at this point, console wars are fun, but there's no getting to them. There's nothing that we can conversate about to change the fact. We can we can speculate and theorize, but they're just fine. I mean, because their fans are telling them they're just fine.
Gotcha. Morgan, you want to say something?
Yeah. Look, I basically agree with what everybody was already saying. I don't really have anything new to really add to the conversation.
Okay. Okay.
I don't have anything to add either.
Gotcha. Then, with that being said, I'm actually gonna call it here. Surprising. Normally we go 2 hours, 3 hours, but there, I don't think a lot of stuff happened this week. Well, there is that quote-unquote rumor PlayStation is doing something big. But I'm not gonna bother speculating about it because, I mean, it's PlayStation. Microsoft have way more holes in their security systems that people are easy to find out what they're doing versus with PlayStation. Like PlayStation seems to have their entire plan kept to themselves. I will touch upon one thing that Jim Ryan said, and then I'll call it a day, which is Jim Ryan stated that he doesn't see subscription service as the future. He sees games as a live service as the future. I'm not gonna lie, that scares me. I don't like that call, and I'm not sure. Yeah.
And I can get your trepidation, but here's the thing: they have also committed to still making their single player game. So as long as they have a fine balance of games as a service, because I gotta agree with the Jim Ryan. The games as a service, it is kind of the way that things going. I mean, you are there's a certain demographic, a growing demographic that wants these type of games. And I'm gonna touch on it tomorrow on my podcast. I'm actually do a breakdown of the history of Sony, and just why they are successful, not just because of the gaming, but just why. And I think you'll get a clearer picture of it. of how they've innovated the electronics industry. And so when you have to stay current to the times. If you don't, you fall behind, and you have to keep that innovation. You have to keep changing the sphere of what we love as gaming. And so if the gaming sphere is changing and evolving into this games as a service, I mean, you have to you have to evolve with it. The days of us putting in our cartridges and our CDs and our games and enjoying those experiences is changing. And as we get older, we can be as I miss popping in my LL Cool J tape. You know what I'm saying? I miss putting in my Wu-Tang CD, but those days are over, right? And so you have to evolve with it. And I think that Sony has figured out a plan, and I'm interested to see how that goes about, because if they're providing these A1 experiences, these single player experiences, if anyone's going to get the games and services right, it'll be Sony.
I'm not feeling, my stance on Game of the Life service.
I mean, I know you just don't want them at all, but they're going to be here because investors, you just spoke about the investors. Investors see the money that some of them are making. The other thing that investors also see that I think is the biggest reason you don't need to be as concerned, market saturation. I hate to tell you, but the battle royale area is saturated, right? Yeah, like market saturation is a very real thing, something they pay attention to. So no, they're just not going to, throw 90 different live service games at the wall and see what sticks. So no, that is not going to happen. They very much know that the saturation window or ceiling is much higher for these single player story driven huge games, but they want to also entice and see what they can do with recurring revenue from a live service game. One that might actually be good. We'll see. I don't know. But yeah, I don't think they're going to invest, as much as you're thinking into it. And him saying it's the future is not the only future. That's again, that's another marketing PR talk. There's no other way to say it. But obviously a future with nothing but live service games wouldn't work. Especially with the finite amount of time and money people have, you're going to end up with 5 games on the whole market eventually, because eventually someone's going to, or you're going to end up with the one,
But
the
we
global
already
success.
know they want to focus on, they're already making 10 one.
I mean, they're making allegedly, but I mean, how far apart are all these things? We don't know. Who are they in partner with? How much is being invested? But you also don't know. There's 20 something plus single player games. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not like it's dwarfing what's in development.
There was 25 unannounced games for PlayStation announced, and then we had 10 of them are live service. So 15 are now then what's called single player.
If they're all first party, but I mean, again, we don't know. And we also don't know what else they're doing going forward, because obviously they still have more acquisitions in mind, and other stuff that they're going forward with. So we'll see.
We'll see. Anyone else anything else to cover when it comes to this topic?
Oh, also, you said nothing else happened. That is a lie. Shout out to Morgan pointing out Xbox getting their first party game of the year. MLB The Show. PlayStation, said, "Ask and you shall receive. I got you." You know what I'm saying?
So, I like this.
Real talk though. How pathetic is this though?
It's hilarious, is what it is.
It's pathetic.
Oh, they were mad about that, but it's okay. It's just the truth. But it was funny.
It's definitely funny, but it's pathetic. No, but this is the same thing that the dude that worked at Xbox that tried to use the Elden Ring, a multi-plat game for console war. Like, nah, dude.
He tried it.
Yeah, he tried it and he failed.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone have anything else to cover when it comes to this topic?
I want to say like on the live service thing,
Mm-hmm.
like Nate and Michelle were saying, that just because they're saying live service is the future, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to get rid of, what we love as the story driven, single player only games. Um, but they have to go into the live service because the market is dictated by what the consumers want, what the demand is. They want to meet that demand, and if there's a majority of people that want live services, they have to meet that demand if they want to make money. So I think it's just a given that there's going to be more live service games, but I don't think that they're going to stop making single player games.
No, apparently, what's his name? Herman Holt already assured people that they're not gonna stop making single player games. But my issue is, my fear is having games like Horizon Forbidden West being impacted by games on the live service. Like, instead of Horizon Forbidden West 3, Horizon Zero, Horizon 3, we get a Horizon game on the live service. That's my fear.
Well, then it's our job to speak up when they do something like that and tell them no. Like stand together like we have before in the past, and they backed out or they fixed whatever needed to be fixed. So that's on us as well.
Hmm. Good call, good point. Anyone else have anything else to add for this one? Nope. Yeah, Viper Rip. I feel you that, like, as someone that doesn't fuck with games like service like that, I love single player games experience and I don't want them, one, to go away, or two, being impacted by games as a live service. Like, if you want to create a totally different IP that's lost from the Horizon franchise, good, you do you on that one. But if you want to take the Horizon franchise that was supposed to be a single player game and make it then a multiplayer game, like, no. Now you lose me. I'm not gonna buy your Horizon then. That's it. Um, we got 10 minutes. So I'm gonna make some speculation. Um, any idea what this whole PlayStation uh, quote unquote news that's so big that Greg Miller from Kind of Funny Games actually uh, moved his show to cover that to be able to cover that. I'm gonna start with you, Nate. Any idea what PlayStation is doing?
I mean, honestly, it sounds like it would be an acquisition. That's the only
Yeah,
thing I could see
but
him
seems
doing.
to be a
For.
big one, eh?
Yeah, so I mean, one that he feels is large enough to move the show. So, um, what that is, I don't know because I
What do
stopped
you
watching
think?
Kind of Funny after Colin left. But
I stopped with Kind of Funny after they start doing Xbox stuff. I'm like, yeah, no. You
yeah,
are one to forcing it to. It's not funny anymore. No
nah,
pun
it wasn't
intended.
funny anymore.
There's nothing
Uh,
fun with Xbox.
nah,
No,
it's
because you
not.
know that when a person is genuine, one person is not genuine. And when you have someone like Paris, I'm kind of funny. You lose me. You lose me completely.
But yeah, I mean,
Um, yeah.
obviously, I mean, Square would be huge, and so would Sega. I mean, those are the only two left in the ring that I personally care about. If you're talking about going big, going publisher status, it's Sega and them. I mean, obviously, supposedly something was happening with Bandai
Capcom.
Namco. Um,
Oh, yeah.
I
I mean,
actually can see
a lot of people have.
I actually can see Bandai Namco going to Xbox. Not gonna lie.
Well, the reason I say Bandai Namco is because PlayStation not only does gaming, but Bandai Namco is also wrapped up in anime, and PlayStation.
Kadokawa is wrapped in anime as well. So
No,
Um,
they're acquiring Young Horse, the studio that did Bugsnax.
oh God, Please,
that would
please.
be that would no,
Bugsnax.
that would be
It's
fun because I
huge.
love Bugsnax.
Oh my god.
Dude,
Y'all are
I
Bugsnax.
got the platinum in
Bug,
Bugsnax. You're missing
Bugsnax
out.
is the goat. Yeah.
I'm not
I
fucking
still
with
haven't played that game.
I highly recommend it. No, Loki. Bugsnax is a better Pokemon game than Pokemon.
that. Thanks, man.
No joke. At least in Bugsnax there is effort into it, into how to capture your quote unquote Bugsnax. And the story is, not gonna lie, I kinda saw it coming, but it was right on the nose enough that it's very interesting. Highly recommend it. And with them doing free DLC, I'm all down. More Bugsnax. And the music is catchy as hell, not gonna lie.
Yep. No, I understand.
I'm gonna go to UK. Any idea what this big announcement might be?
I told you they're acquiring a young horse, and we're gonna get Bugsnax all to ourselves.
Fine. And now, who else do you think?
I honestly don't know. Um, I mean, the only one that would somewhat make sense, like as in a business acquisition for PlayStation, would be Square.
Actually, quite a
But
few. The Square, there is.
well, that's the one that comes to the forefront of mind
Oh, okay, gotcha.
personally, or on a personal note.
Who do you want them to be on a personal
Viper said
note?
he'd be excited for their next game, though. If they did get acquired, I guess.
Morgan, what your thoughts
Yes, sir.
on this one?
Well, to be honest, PlayStation quote unquote insiders haven't had the best track record. So honestly, I don't expect anything. Every
Morgan's
time
coming
they
with the
announce that
smoke.
there's something coming, I'm just like, all right, yeah, okay. Anyway, so I'm not expecting anything to happen. There's going to be, of course, there's going to be news and announcements, but I have a very strong feeling that they have nothing to do with what any of these people are talking about. So that's how I feel about that.
So you think someone like Greg Miller doesn't have the
I'm
insight?
not saying he's lying. I'm just saying that
No.
his sources, they just. I'm not saying that he wants to lie. He's outright lying. I'm just saying that maybe his sources aren't reliable.
Gotcha. Weeb, who do you want them to pick, and what do you think of this whole thing?
What do I want him to pick? Well, if it's really huge, they're gonna get a publisher. And if they're gonna get a publisher, I think it's gonna be Capcom, because Square doesn't make. Yeah, I mean it makes sense with how close they are, but then again, they're already getting those games, and Square is a bit bigger than Capcom. I think Capcom is probably the one that makes the most sense if they're gonna buy a publisher. But probably we're getting too excited, and it's gonna be, if anything, probably a developer.
DC, who do you want them to pick up, if it's up to you?
Who do wants to pick up? I mean, I like small Japanese devs like Vanillaware, but that's not gonna be a massive acquisition. But still, I mean, if they pick up Vanillaware and they can actually get them to do a game, every year or whatever, every 2 years, I would love to see more of those. But probably not going to happen.
Gotcha. Zarek,
It's probably a small studio. I'm telling what it'd be. It would be probably something that we're not going to be expecting to see.
From the sound of it, it seems to be earth-shattering.
It may be interesting, it may not be. Like, we can't get our hopes up just yet. We just gotta wait and see. Be a little just watchful, Yeah, because it could be anybody. It could be anybody. You just don't know. I'm thinking it's gonna be Kojima Productions, but I gotta see for myself. You know, they gotta see when it really announced. It may be a shocker. It may not be a shocker. You know, we could just guess and have a theory on stuff, but we just gotta see, man. Let's see on it. I don't really don't know, but I'm guessing. I'm gonna guess it's a small studio. I'm just gonna guess on that. Don't know who, but we're just gonna see, man. I really don't have anybody to just go for.
From the sound of
Man,
it, it could be on the level of, and I'm reaching here, but when you say massive, I'm thinking 2K, level of 2K, something like that. Because
that,
even a
that could
level
be something.
something, a company like Square, I don't see it as massive. I see it literally as uh, what's called not finally.
Yeah. Now it could be Konami. Kon, it could be just Konami. You know, they wanted to acquire them. No, nobody knows. I just, I'm just hoping something, you know, something to be talk about. You know, something that's gonna that's gonna catch our eye. You know, to see okay, what can they make? You know, or we've seen something they made before. You know, let's see what their new next IP will be. You know, but that's it, man. Uh, I really hoping for something though, but I can't think of it because my mind is blank. It's drawing blanks right now.
Gotcha. For me, I'm curious if they're gonna hit up Monday and boom, we're gonna find out it's genuinely earth-shattering. I'm curious we're gonna be. I'm expecting something Japanese related. If up to me, if was me, they would go after Kodakawa. Cause with Kodakawa you got the animation and you got FromSoft. Especially after finding out that what's his name, Yoshida, biggest regret is not getting FromSoft. We will see. With that being said, let's get into our outro. We're gonna start with you, Nate, where people can find you. Okay. Where people can find you, okay?
You can find me on Twitter at Kaylee1103, KALEIGH1103. Find me on Twitter. And y'all heard it here first. It's Young Horse and Otter Nation.
Where
Other
people
nation.
can find you, Morgan?
Hey guys, it's Morgan, aka Chill Bandit. You can also find me on Twitter. Thanks for coming through, and see you guys next weekend.
See you guys next weekend. Where people can find you, Weeb?
You can find me as the Weep Sheriff on Twitter or at Infinite Rhizome and as Blue Rhizome on YouTube. And yeah, great show. See you next week and Other Nation.
Where people can find you, Derek?
You can find me on Twitter at the wreckage, wreck underscore age 89 on Twitter. Y'all be blessed, man.
Where people can find me? Oh no, Nate, you here? Okay, people can find Nate at the real Nate on Twitter, and people can find Ghost in a Shell on YouTube at Ghost in a Shell 65, I think. We're gonna have a show tomorrow, and we're gonna cover this situation. And people can find me at Carab_Job on Twitter, VGP on Monday, and yeah, here, Great Player. Shout out to everyone, and see you next week. We're out here.
Yeah.